I ball, I shoot, swoosh, capital hoops. Tonight, we're talking basketball with Mark Stern, the president of Capital Hoops. And we're taking your calls. It's all tonight on Toyota Sports Talk.
From WJLA 24/7 News, this is Toyota Sports Talk.
Hey everyone, welcome to Toyota Sports Talk. I'm Erin Hawksworth. Thank you so much for joining us. The song is playing right now. The DMV, it's a hotbed for young basketball talent. We have open phone lines tonight, 703-387-1020. Tonight's guest is the president of Capital Hoops, a website that promotes young basketball players in our area. And Mark helps give high school players exposure that might not be available to them otherwise. And we love that. So with that, Mark Stern, welcome to the show. If you follow basketball in the area, surely you have heard the song playing right now, I ball, I shoot, swoosh, Capital Hoops. Now, there is a story. I knew this tune for the last few years since I've lived here. I've seen your videos, I've gone to your website, I watch your videos, and the tune catches on. Like, it's very catchy. I had no idea until we talked like a week ago that was Shy Glizzy.
Yeah.
Tell us about that story.
I got lucky. Shy Glizzy was kind of a up-and-coming rapper. Definitely didn't have the fame and the following that he has today. And a friend of mine that I went to high school with, shout out to Eddie, was kind of involved with Shy Glizzy's management team, I guess you would say, and recommended that, you know, I get my brand kind of a face, if you will. And, you know, we made some things happen, and we went down to the studio in Southeast. And
what was that like?
It was an interesting cold winter night.
So what do you say? Like, I need like a theme song, and you ask him to, you ask Shy Glizzy to do it. So here you are, you're driving to Southeast, you meet him at a music studio,
yep.
And you're in the studio, and like, did he just do it right away? Like, or did it take a while?
Yeah, we were there for probably 4 or 5 hours. He asked me, you know, he's familiar with basketball, obviously not to the extent that I am, but he asked me for kind of some key phrases, for some names of some players, and I sat there and put, you know, 10 to 12 terms down, and he just kind of got in his zone and
wow, and
made it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I can obviously tell it's him now. I don't know why I didn't put that together before. I'm a little disappointed in myself.
Yeah.
So you started, or the website started back in 2010. Just tell us a little bit about that.
So when I started, there was no competition. The Washington Post was really the only other outlet that covered high school basketball, and it seemed like it, you know, we're a hotbed for basketball. There's tons of players, tons of teams that could use this exposure. Obviously, I have to turn it into a business as well. It's not just about going and, you know, recording players and helping them out. I've got to, you know, monetize it. It's my full-time job. So, you know, it's been a process. I mean, it kind of started off as a passion project, but I've built it into a business, and I get feedback all the time that I really help these kids out. We have a pretty big fan base.
That's awesome.
And, you know, it's blossomed into what it is today.
Speaking of fan base, we have a caller. Ryan in Upper Marlboro. What's up, Ryan?
Stone Kids, what's going on, brother?
Do you have a question?
Or...
Yes, you like the song as much as I do.
Absolutely, absolutely. A big fan of Mark. You know, we actually used to watch high school games when we were back in our day. We used to follow all the top teams in the nation. I kind of ventured off, but you know, he kept with it, and he's got a successful business model right now.
Do you regret venturing off?
Well, I don't get to see as much as the action as he does, and so I have a son that's kind of come up through grade school, and he's got a lot of interest in basketball, and it just reminds me of, you know, when we used to watch all the, you know, watch all these great games the DC area has to offer, all the talent here.
That's awesome.
Ryan, what was your best memory as when we were young, going to games together?
Newport Mills, watching Delonte Hill and DeMar Johnson.
Yep, those were great days in the DMV basketball.
Yeah.
Has the landscape changed? Is it better or not as exciting? How do you guys describe sort of how it's evolved around here?
There's a lot more going on. There's so many more teams, so many more, you know, premier players. I mean, you know, 15, 20 years ago when we used to go to games, there was not the number of attractions that there are, you know, in this day.
What about you, Ryan, real quick?
Yeah, so I can't speak to that too much because I've just kind of been out of it, but, you know, I see all the hype in this area and how popular basketball is, especially just kind of, you know, I kind of help coach my son's team, and I just see, you know, the kids' passion for the game and wanting to play at a higher level in high school and go to the top schools. And
all right. Well, thank you so much for calling in, Ryan. We're going to go to Jimmy Hoops next. What's up, Jimmy Hoops?
Hey, Mark, this is Jimmy, the bald-head white guy you see at all the WCAC games.
What's up, Jimmy?
Just want to let you know that I think you do a fantastic job, and not only do the kids appreciate you, but so do the fans, because without you, believe me, there'd be a lot of knowledge left on the table.
Well, thank you, Jimmy.
That's
That's
awesome.
kind words from someone who's very well regarded in the high school basketball area here.
Thank you, Jimmy.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having the show on like this, because to be honest with you, Washington, D.C. is a basketball city, and we have the best basketball in the country. Mark will probably attest to that. So we got to make sure that we keep, you know, representing this city, because the WCAC is definitely by far probably the best league in the whole country. We got to make sure that we, you know, we put that out there.
No, I couldn't agree more, and that's why I wanted to have Mark on the show, and we want to do more of these shows to just give these kids more spotlight. They really deserve it. They work hard, and many of them go on to do really great things at the collegiate and NBA level. Before we go to another call, we are taking your calls tonight, 703-387-1020. What's one of your favorite memories since you've been doing this?
Favorite memories? One of my favorite memories, Markel Fultz, who everyone is very familiar with, he had a dunk at Eleanor Roosevelt.
It was ridiculous. We have that video.
Ridiculous. And I think this was kind of Markel's coming out party. He was
right here.
A junior. I think it was the second or third start of his varsity career. And this play was one for the ages.
Yeah, and I really hope everything works out for Markel. Obviously, I've been a big fan because he went to University of Washington, and I'm from Seattle. Right. So I'm going to be a fan of that. Well, let's go to Paul in Hyattsville next. What's up, Paul?
Yes, I think this is a good opportunity for the young teenagers, because when you look, if you go back in the day, you had to look at, we had Craig Shelton, we had Andre McLeod, we had Charles Smith from Georgetown. So Sherman Douglas, when we used to have the summer games. So I think this is a good challenge for them. I think all the great players come out of the low income areas. It's just keeping them in school, keeping them focused with their books, and keeping them off the streets. That's the main idea right there.
Thank you, Paul. And that kind of segues into a player who was nicknamed Crime Stopper in Baltimore, because Mark focuses on the DMV, but also the Baltimore area, where he says going to high school basketball games in Baltimore is a pretty big deal. Big crowds. It's very exciting because they don't have an NBA team there. So tell us about Crime Stopper and what that was like.
So Akil Carr was, anyone who's seen him play before, who's been part of the show, the circus, they call it, whatever, was, I mean, hands down the most riveting, hands down the most riveting basketball player I've ever seen. He was all of 5'6", 5'7", averaged 30+ a game, dunked in games. I mean, this kid was just electrifying.
And how many years ago was this?
This was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
He graduated, I would say.
All right.
Went to Patterson High School on Kane Street in Baltimore for his first 3 years, and then transferred to...
You've hyped up the Baltimore high school scene. I feel like I got to go see a game now. Maybe I could come with you and be like your intern.
My current interns might have something to say about that.
I'll fight them
we might be able to squeeze you in.
Okay, hold your thought. Bob, stay on the line, 703-387-1020. So much to get to with Mark Stern. It's his first time on Toyota Sports Talk. So many questions to get to. We're back with your calls right after this. Welcome back to Toyota Sports Talk. We have Mark Stern, the president of CapitalHoops.com. If you're looking for high school basketball videos, this is the spot. And of course, the song you're hearing right now was Shy Glizzy 5 years ago or so, before his career took off, the DC rapper. He's big now. He's a big deal. And you were able to get him to produce that song, and it's really taken off. So
yeah, I was lucky in that regard, for sure.
All right, let's go to Bob. He's been waiting patiently. What's up, Bob?
Hey, Mark Stern does a great job. Love Capitol Hoops. It's one of the sites I go to every morning. So as a father of a kid that plays high school now, and I played back in the day, do you think in the future you'll maybe entertain doing some streaming, or are you going to stick to this format here of doing highlights, even though your highlights basically show the whole game in 10-plus minutes?
That's a great question. It's something that I've thought about. I do try to show spots of games on Instagram Live. It's something I've started to do fairly regularly this season, especially the end of a game if it's a really close game.
Yep.
But in terms of streaming full games, it's possible. You know, a lot of manpower has to go into that. I'm going to have a couple guys at a game in order to do that, and I kind of feel like my resources are better allocated if I have 2 or 3 people working on a given night, if I have 2 or 3 games covered on that night instead. Mm-hmm. But it's something I've thought about and I'll continue to think about. But that's a great question. It's a great question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bob. We were just talking about it before the show started. Like, it's too bad that there's not enough high school basketball from this area on the local TV stations as well.
Yes.
And so that's where Capitol Hoops, or if you ever did have the resources, I'm sure it would be popular, especially if parents, it seems like people are always working 24/7 around here, and if you can't get to your kid's game, that would be cool to be able to stream it, or grandparents or whatever, So.
Yeah, definitely. It's something I probably need to consider a little bit more, but it's not, it's not easy. You got to have multiple people there doing the tech side of it.
Trust me, being in the business, I know a lot goes into that. And you're also busy already. You do the DeMatha Summer League, Capitol Hoops DeMatha Summer League. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Summer League at DeMatha, it's been going on for 8 or 9 years. This past season, I kind of took over implementing the day-to-day operations of it. We had 15 phenomenal interns that, worked on a daily basis at Summer League, 32 teams from up and down the DMV, up into Baltimore, and just a great way for a lot of kids that don't play in the WCAC to be able to come and play in that facility against teams. And they may lose by 20, 30 points, but the experience, there's a team, for example, Blake from Montgomery County. They got their butt handed to them almost every night at Summer League. But I saw a tweet from their coach a few days ago that I think they won their district this year. And I was kind of joking with them on Twitter, taking those 20, 30-point lumps, prepared you guys because you saw different players, different sets, different quality of players. And, it's just a great opportunity for the good teams and, the teams that maybe aren't that good to,
That's awesome, though, to know that they really learned from that. And there was so much growth and development, even though they weren't winning, but they still got a lot out of it. So that's a really cool story.
Absolutely.
You've also done some popular documentary series over the years, with one on Markelle Fultz. How cool was that?
It was great. I mean, we did it before, Markelle Fultz was the Markelle Fultz that everyone knows today. And just to kind of get inside of his life, his family was so accommodating. We were in his home on a weekly basis, filming. After he went to Washington, I went out to University of Washington for a week, continued filming out there, became close with a lot of the DeMatha people through that, and just a great experience, for me, and it really kind of helped elevate his brand and get people, to know who he is outside of, this guy dunking and shooting threes.
That's awesome. Emmanuel Quickly is another one, right?
Yep, Quickly, who's friends with Markelle, was the next guy that we did. He was a point guard out of John Carroll in Bel Air, Maryland, played in the Baltimore Catholic League. And, we went to Quickly after Markelle left. This is a highlight you're watching right now was part of the documentary, a separate documentary that I partnered with Uninterrupted, LeBron James's media company. And they came down and did a huge production on Quickly, but just another opportunity to see another 5-star elite kid quickly. He's at Kentucky now, you know, one of the top recruits in the country. So
that's awesome.
Just another inside look at a super high level player.
And then quickly, we have about a minute left in this segment, Elijah Wood as well.
Elijah Wood goes to BCC High School right now. He just committed to Tulane.
Isn't that your high school?
It is my high school.
Shout out to your high school.
Shout out to the Barons. But yeah, Elijah Wood, we wanted to take a look at a public school player and see kind of how that differed from, you know, from Fultz and Quickly, and just kind of the similarities and the differences. So we're in the midst of doing that now. Documentary's called Checkmate. We've come out with 2 episodes so far, and there's more on the horizon.
All right, open phone line 703-387-1020. Maybe you have a question for Mark Stern when it comes to the DMV basketball scene. He is the president of CapitalHoops.com. We're back right after this. Welcome back. We're here with Mark Stern, the president of Capital Hoops. Check him out at CapitalHoops.com. Open phone lines. We've got some great callers tonight. We want to hear from more of you. 703-387-1020. Mark's all over the high school basketball scene in the DMV, Baltimore. What is like the most memorable game that you've seen in recent memory?
I would say the most memorable game was public school, University of Maryland 2 years ago, undefeated Wise team led by Deron Barnes and Michael Spate got upset by Quince Orchard, a team from Montgomery County. Wise was undefeated. I think they were nationally ranked in some public school rankings. Quince Orchard entered that game, I mean, a massive, massive underdog, and they played the perfect game. Their spacing. So this was the last year before the shot clock was instilled, and they would sit there and take 2-3 minutes off the clock, and then once Wise would kind of fall asleep, they'd catch him with a backdoor play. I mean, it was Paul Foringer, who's the coach there. It was one of the best coaching and kind of executing performances I've ever seen. Quince Orchard lost in the state championship in their next game to Perry Hall, but that was probably the most memorable game I've ever
And
covered.
you've seen a lot. Let's go to Norman in Gaithersburg. What's up, Norman?
How are you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. I want to first say congratulations to Mark on his recent engagement.
Snuck that one in. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah, and also, as a Kentucky Wildcat fan, are there any local DMV stars or upcoming recruits that could be coming to the University of Kentucky?
The one that comes to mind, Hunter Dickinson, center at DeMatha, took an official visit to Kentucky 2 weeks ago. I spoke to him briefly about that. He was really excited about the visit. I know he had a lot of stuff to say on camera to me about that. That interview is out on my website right now. But he kept talking about how Calipari really prepares his kids to play beyond the college game, and just had a lot of really good things to say about Kentucky. Now, with that being said, he's being recruited heavily by every school in the country. So, I wouldn't get your fingers crossed. I wouldn't cross your fingers that he's going to go to Kentucky, but I know he had a great experience on that visit. I think he's probably your best bet. That's the one that comes to mind.
All right, great question. Thank you so much for the call, and congratulations are in order.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. Final thoughts, plus if we have time, we're going to squeeze in another call or two. 703-387-1020. Final thoughts with Mark Stern right after this. Welcome back to Toyota Sports Talk, final segment, and I wanted to show these awesome shirts. You can go to CapitalHoops.com. Mark's got a lot of shirts there now. So this is the Summer League one. We've got I ball, I shoot, swoop.
Swoosh.
So swoosh. Sorry, I screwed it up, but you get the point. Swoosh. And then we have the sweatshirt. So there's hoodies as well. So go to CapitalHoops.com. And Mark, there's some good basketball games coming up, especially in the WCAC that you're going to be at. Tell us about those.
Tomorrow night, Gonzaga Paul VI will be one of the most anticipated games of the year. Gonzaga coming off their huge win against DeMatha, playing a Paul VI team that's lost twice to DeMatha in the last week.
Oh, wow.
That's got a lot of implications for the postseason, which is, you know, a couple of weeks away, and that should be a very good game.
What are the rankings right now? Like 1, 2, 3?
I haven't checked. I didn't check the Washington Post rankings today, but I would assume that they're 2 and 3 in one order or the other.
Yeah.
I think DeMatha is probably number 1. You know, Wilson's probably up there too. I'd say two of the top 4 for sure.
Okay. All right. And then your Twitter handle, if anyone wants to check out some high school videos, go to Capital Hoops on Twitter, and then it's capitalhoops.com. You can see the website right there on your screen. Thank you so much to all of our callers. We'll see you tomorrow night with Adam Epstein. AWOD of 106.7 The Fan joins us.